Hi, and welcome back to this last segment of this Thursday edition of Focal Point on AFR Talk. Number to call if you want to join the program, 888-589-8840. Be interested again in kind of your reactions to what the shenanigans the Democrats have pulled, not only pulling God out of the platform, but also pulling support for Israel out of the platform. Want to know what you think about that, what your reaction to that is. Had a pretty strong pro-Israel plank in 2008. That is completely gone. So there is a statement about Jerusalem being the capital of Israel, but that is it. All the stuff about Palestinians living in their own state, that's gone. All that stuff about not going back to indefensible borders, all that is gone. So be curious to know what you think about that. All that criticism of Hamas, that's gone. What you think about all of that. 888-589-8840, the number to call, 888-589-8840. Now, I want to play one more soundbite from the Clinton speech. See if I can find here's my transcript. This is, again, I think Bill Clinton's objective here was to make himself look good and make Barack Obama look like a total hack. Don't miss this. People thought he's just said wonderful things about Barack Obama. It's true he nominated him. It's true he encouraged people to vote for him. But in the course of his remark, and I think this was absolutely intentional, he made Barack Obama look like a hack, like an inept, incompetent president in comparison to himself. And he does it on the issue of welfare. Let's listen to this clip.
So, this is personal to me. We moved millions of people off welfare. It was one of the reasons that in the 8 years I was president, we had 100 times as many people move out of poverty into the middle class than happened under the previous 12 years. 100 times as many. It's a big deal. But I am telling you, the claim that President Obama weakened welfare reform's work requirement is just not true.
Well, that last statement's a flat-out lie. There's no question he did weaken the work requirement. But here's what I want you to observe. And, Rob, we're going to play the next Clinton one. We've got to get that next Clinton soundbite in there, too. So get that one queued up. Under Barack Obama, 50% more people are on food stamps today than they were when he took office. In fact, Jeff Reed, my producer, said, when they, instead of having a balloon drop, they ought to have a confetti drop of food stamps. Just drop food stamps from helicopters on that place, because that's what the Obama administration is all about. You have more people living in poverty now under Obama than have ever lived. More people going on welfare today than have ever gone on welfare in history. Now, what does Clinton say? Hey, we moved, meaning me, while Barack Obama is moving millions of people onto welfare, I moved millions of people off welfare. We had 100 times as many people move out of poverty into the middle class than happened during the previous 12 years, 100 times as many. So who's he making look like a chump here? Obama's looking like a chump. I moved hundreds of times more people off of welfare into the middle class than the previous 12 years. What is Barack Obama doing? He's got people lined up on food stamps. He's got more poor people, more out-of-work people than we've ever had in history. Let's play the final clip from the Bill Clinton speech, and this has to do with the national debt. And again, once you get on to him, you realize he is trying to make Obama look like a complete total hack in comparison to the wonders of the Clinton presidency. Let's listen.
Don't you ever forget when you hear them talking about this, that Republican economic policies quadrupled the national debt before I took office, in the 12 years before I took office, and double the debt in the 8 years after I left, because it defied arithmetic. It was a highly inconvenient thing for them in our debates that I was just a country boy from Arkansas, and I came from a place where people still thought 2 and 2 was 4.
So what is Bill Clinton doing here?
It's arithmetic.
What is Bill Clinton doing here?
We simply cannot afford to give the reins of government to someone who will double down on trickle down.
That's good. That's all we need out of that clip, Rob. Well, no, what is Clinton doing here? He's saying, look, when I became president, the Republicans had quadrupled the national debt. What did I do? I balanced the budget. What has Barack Obama done? He's running trillion-dollar deficits as far as the eye can see. So don't be under any illusions about what Bill Clinton was doing in this speech. He was sticking a skewer into Barack Obama, and he was twisting the knife once he got it in. Now I want to play, let's go down to clips 11 and 12. Remember, the Democrats are ardently pro-choice on abortion. But you ask them if they're pro-choice on anything else, you get a different reaction. This is Reason TV talking with delegates to the Democrat National Convention, clip 11. Let's listen to the first one.
Are you pro-choice in terms of what you put in your own body?
I think a lot of people make harmful decisions. There's alcohol, there's cigarette smoking. And so I understand the government trying to intervene because the American taxpayer pays a lot of money for fat people.
Mississippi's the fattest state in the union, and if anybody could use some reduction in the trans fat they intake, it would be my state.
So in that case, you're for taking away the consumer choice?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Chuck Schumer was pushing the ban of Four Loko, which is a combination of caffeine and alcohol. That seems like a clear taking away of a choice. Would you not agree with that?
Well, is it really a choice? You're deciding to do something that's not healthy for you.
That's a choice,
right?
But if you decide to do something that's not healthy for you, let's talk about the results of that action that you take.
So people should only be allowed to make good choices.
No, people should make the choices that have good results.
That just cracks me up. Here is clip number 2. Are Democrats truly pro-choice? Let's listen.
Should consumers have a choice in what kind of light bulbs they want to buy?
No, they shouldn't, because if they're polluting the earth, it's going to last longer than their lifetime.
You're okay with restricting choice in light bulbs?
Yeah, and even if you do prefer the warm glow, if you're that particular about lighting, does that really come before the safety and future of our planet?
To choose not to be in a union, is that a choice that should be?
It should be a choice not to be in a union. Yep.
So you're in favor of right to work state?
No, choice not to be in a union, but I think unions do good, so I would choose. I guess not. I'm not in favor of right to work.
Should people have the choice not to join a union?
Actually, no, I don't like the right to work states.
You're from Louisiana. What about school choice, the choice of parents to send their kids to whatever school they think is best?
Well, I think if you had reasonable schools that were held to accountability and used a reasonable curriculum, I think it would be a wonderful thing.
There are a lot of for-profit charter schools.
Is the profit motive a bad thing?
I think the profit motive is not something that should be interjected into public education.
So those are Democrats. They're pro-choice on abortion, but anti-choice on Coca-Cola, consumption of fat, light bulbs, union membership, and school choice. Let's go to our phones. Let's go to Noah in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Noah, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Oh, thanks so much. Oh, I just wanted to pick up where Bill Federer left off on the October surprise. I just learned recently, searching the Internet, the Drudge Report, about the 1.4 billion rounds of hollow point ammo that the Homeland Security has bought. And it just makes me curious what they're stockpiling that for. It makes me really leery when they're buying ammo that's not for target practice. And also the Geneva Convention forbids it to be used in a war. And it just makes me wonder what they're planning. And then also about this 2016 movie. It's a very excellent movie. And I would say a powerhouse to go along with that would be Dreams from My Real Father. It's a documentary that this man put out of Barack Obama's real father, possibly Frank Marshall Davis. You ought to check that out. So just people ought to perk their ears up when they see 1.4 billion rounds of ammo that the Homeland Security, and then look who's on the terrorist watch list. It just makes a person think.
All right. Well, listen, Noah, I appreciate the call. Thank you for that. And that ammo thing has been a puzzle to a lot of people, certainly a puzzle to me. 450 hollow point rounds being purchased by Department of Homeland Security. Hollow point rounds illegal in international warfare, so they're buying that to use on their fellow Americans. That's the only possible place they could be used. 450 million rounds of hollow point ammo. The National Weather Service, the Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is out there buying 74,000 rounds. The Social Security Administration, they're buying 174,000 rounds. I guess they're concerned about people coming into the Social Security offices in their wheelchairs and their walkers with Uzis. And they got to be prepared for this takeover or something like that. It just starts to get a little bit weird. All right, let us go to Rebecca in Rogers, Arkansas. Rebecca, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Hey, I bought into the absolutely superb manner in which Bill Clinton presented everything last night. And my take is, he was saying, well, what Barack Obama came into was so much worse, he did stress, than what he had come upon, what he'd had to conquer. And so, but he went down and took everything the Republicans have said about Obama and countered it so believably that the person who does not know the truth can be misled. That's the way Bill Clinton's speeches are every time. He comes across so sincerely.
I know it. It fools a lot of people, doesn't he? Well, let's grab one more call. Bill, very quickly. Now, I don't have time for Bill. I'm sorry, Bill. I am just completely out of time. My apologies. We're running a little bit short on time. Thanks for everybody for listening and for calling in today. Here's your blessing. The God of peace will soon crush Satan under your feet. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. Never forget, we are fighting a winnable war. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. See you then.